Your cat is not being dramatic. When she bolts out of the room for no reason you can see or flattens herself behind the couch the moment you walk in, warm and happy to see her, she is responding to something real. You just didn't know you were doing it. I ran a cats-only practice for 20 years, and the hardest conversation I had, over and over, was with people who loved their cat completely and were quietly terrifying her every single day. Not one of them was being cruel. Every one of them was doing something that works beautifully on a dog and lands on a cat like a threat. Here are 7 of them. Most people do at least 4. The first one is looking at her. A long, warm, affectionate stare across the room. In your head, that is love. In her head, it's a predator locking on. Cats read a direct, unbroken stare as the last thing that happens before something with teeth commits. That's why, at a party, the cat walks past every cat person calling her and climbs into the lap of the one person ignoring her completely. That person is the only one in the room not threatening her. So do what she does. Look at her, then close your eyes slowly and open them again. That slow blink is a cat saying, "I am close enough to shut my eyes around you." It's the single most useful thing I ever taught my clients, and it costs you nothing. Most cats will blink back within a week. The second is picking her up for a hug. I know, that's the whole reason you got a cat. But think about what being lifted means to an animal that size. In her entire evolutionary history, exactly one thing has scooped her off the ground and pinned her front legs against her body, and it wasn't affection. Some cats tolerate it. Tolerating is not enjoying, and the difference shows up in her ears, which go flat and sideways, and in her tail, which starts to twitch at the tip. Let her come to you and sit on you instead. A cat in your lap by her own choice is worth more than a cat in your arms by yours. Third, rubbing her belly when she rolls over. When your cat flops onto her side in front of you and shows you that soft stretch of stomach, she is not asking you to touch it. She's telling you she trusts you enough to expose the one part of her body with no protection over the organs. The instinct she has fires at once, and now you have 4 claws and a set of back legs on your forearm, and you're telling people your cat is moody. She isn't moody. She said thank you, and you misread it. The 4th one is in your wall socket right now. Plug in air fresheners, scented candles, essential oil diffusers. Your cat's sense of smell is roughly 14 times stronger than yours. What reads to you as a pleasant hint of linen is, to her, standing inside it. And she navigates her whole world by scent. That's how she knows this room is hers, and you are hers, and everything is where it should be. When you fog that room, you take away her map. And with essential oils, it's worse than stressful. A cat's liver is missing an enzyme pathway that most mammals use to break these compounds down. Tea tree, eucalyptus, citrus, peppermint, pine, they don't clear the way they would in you or in a dog. They accumulate. If you run a diffuser, run it in a room she cannot get into, or don't run it at all. I would rather your house smelled like a house. 5th, the litter box. You switched to the scented litter because the unscented wasn't doing enough about the smell. From her side, you just filled the one place she is most vulnerable with a chemical cloud she can't escape. Same with moving the box or putting a lid on it or tucking it in a corner where she can't see the room. A cat wants to eliminate somewhere she can watch her exits. If a cat starts going next to the box instead of in it, that is almost never spite. That is a cat telling you the box has a problem. Unscented, uncovered, scooped daily, and one more box than you have cats. That fixes most of it. 6th, the spray bottle, or the shout, or the clap when she gets on the counter. Here is what you think happened. She learned the counter is off limits. Here is what actually happened. She learned the counter is fine when you're not in the room and that you are a creature who occasionally, without warning, attacks. Cats don't connect a punishment to a behavior the way you're hoping. They connect it to whatever is nearby. And what's nearby is you. You cannot punish a cat out of a behavior. You can only make her afraid of you and better at hiding it. Give her something better instead. A tall cat tree by the window beats a countertop every time because what she wanted was height, not your granite. And the 7th, how you walk up to her. Straight at her from above at full speed, hand coming down onto the top of her head. That's 4 threat signals stacked. Approach from the side, crouch so you're not looming, and let her make the last few inches herself. Offer one finger at her nose height and wait. If she pushes her cheek into it, you're in. If she doesn't, you're not. And that's information, not rejection. Now, the part I need you to actually hear. A cat that's frightened doesn't cry or act out. She goes quiet. She goes small. She finds the back of a closet and she stays there, and because she isn't making noise, everyone decides she's fine. So watch for the hiding. A cat who suddenly spends her days somewhere she can't be reached, who stops greeting you, who stops using the box, is not being difficult. She's telling you the only way she has. And if a cat stops eating, that stops being a behavior problem and becomes a clock. Cats are different from dogs here, and it matters enormously. A cat who goes 2 to 3 days without food can start pulling fat into a liver that isn't built to process it. And that condition, hepatic lipidosis, can kill a cat who was merely stressed a week earlier. So a cat that hides is worth watching. A cat that hides and won't eat is worth a phone call to your vet that day, not next week. None of this makes you a bad owner. It makes you someone who was handed a small predator and given dog instructions. Fix the 7 and watch what happens over the next month. The cat who used to leave the room when you walked in starts arriving in it. She was never aloof. She was just waiting for you to speak her language.